This is Steve Heitzer, and you're listening to Everyone Needs a Spotter. We've been given the green light to get started here by the production team, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And we would just like to cordially and warmly welcome everyone to our special live production and episode of Everyone Needs a Spotter, our multifamily fitness podcast put together here by the team at RMS Fitness. This is sort of our love letter, the program that we've put together over time to be able to give a little bit back to the multifamily community. So if you haven't had a chance to check out our podcast before, you picked a really special time to join us. We've never been live before. We're going to do it live here today. Normally, we just love to kind of get started by introducing everybody here around the table. I am your host, Steve Heitzer. So happy to be here with the full entourage of the podcast crew.
It's been a while.
Who's it going to be, guys?
What's my name today?
Who's it going to be? We're going straight across the table.
Gosh.
Little Wipey, Emily V.
That's me. I'm Emily V, Little Wipey.
Now, if you don't know, you're going to have to listen to the segment 4 here of our podcast to find a little bit more about that nickname.
Mm-hmm.
But we're excited to be here with you today, Emily.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Excuse
No.
me. To my left, my usual compatriot, my fellow Steven. Steven D, what it be, buddy?
What's going on, man? It's good to be on a live podcast, and it's we've been talking about this for a while, and here it is.
Yep.
Exposing ourselves to the LinkedIn family over here.
Yes, definitely feeling a little bit out here on an island live here today, but that is okay because I always feel confident when I am joined by none other than fearless leader Robert Decker. How's it going, buddy?
He's been waiting all morning to say that. Literally all morning.
Waited my
Doing
whole
well,
life
Steve.
for this moment, right?
Well, you talked me into this, so here we are. Looking forward to a fine conversation.
Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you guys for being here. And listen, we're going to go ahead and get it out of the way now. We are live broadcasting right here from RMS HQ in Middle River, Maryland. This is an active worksite office. We have our employee gym here behind us. We've got offices all around us. The warehouse is on the other side here. So you may hear some sounds and operations of incidental sorts here at RMS today as people are going ahead and moving about their business, getting things done here, because we are a place of work, if nothing else. But we're definitely looking forward to this. So normally on Everyone Needs a Spotter, what we like to do is we just kind of talk about subjects that are, that are important to multifamily operators, fitness centers, fitness amenities, gyms, whatever it is that you call them, are super important nowadays in the multifamily amenity space. They're probably among the most impactful amenity at your community. Most people are going to tell you that when they go and look at new properties, they go and investigate where it is that they're going to move or lease next, that looking into the fitness center is one of the key decision-making points for them when it comes to where it is that they're going to choose to make their home next. So we've realized that there's a lot of information that we know as fitness industry experts, employees, people that have worked in this space for a long time, that could be really useful to the multifamily community as they seek to make the most of the fitness amenity at their property. So we pick a subject, we talk about it, we share our expertise and experiences and a little bit of what we learned along the way, just to make sure that the information that we've acquired is available to others. So that's Everyone Needs a Spotter in a nutshell. We hope to be the spotter for the multifamily community in your efforts to operate multifamily fitness amenities. We want to have your back. We want to be here to be a resource to you for information, but also whatever it is else that you might need in that gym space. So whether it's equipment, service maintenance information about cleaning, taking care of things, making the most of it, that's what we're here to provide. So today's subject, what are we here to talk about, Stephen? Tell them a little bit about what we plan to discuss today.
I think the biggest thing that we're going to talk about is your gym winter ready?
Yep.
And all the ins and outs of that.
Yep. Now, winter ready can mean different things, right? Winter on the East Coast can be different than winter in certain parts of the West Coast and
that's
in between,
a good point.
right? So it's different everywhere, but there are a couple of things that no matter where you live, no matter what the weather and climate are like, that you're going to experience in the next few weeks. So really what we wanted to talk about first, as people begin to kind of look into the subject of winter readiness for their fitness amenity, is what it is that people should expect. As they go ahead and move past the holidays into the new year, there are some things that people should expect to see in their fitness centers. And we want to talk about those first. So Emily, what do you think is the most one of the most likely things that people should expect to see in their gym here in the next few weeks?
Well, there's going to definitely be a boom full, just a lot of people in the room because of New Year's resolution. So
Yep.
the gyms are going to be hit hard with just a ton of users, more so than throughout the year. So
Yeah. Because basically, like from the end of October through the end of December, it's a really busy time for most people. There's a lot of places to be. People travel, they get around. There's all these events and parties and things that people are attending. So a lot of times, physical activities and things take a back seat during that time of year. So you're absolutely right, Emily. The New Year's resolutions is a big part of it. After January 1st, people are pumped up. They're ready to kind of, the new year, new me thing, right? And they're going to go ahead and try to get out and make the most of the new opportunity. But there's also more to it than just that. I mean, if you're here on the East Coast, how's the weather been lately, Robert?
It's been cold, Steve. It's been real cold.
It's been cold.
In fact, Adriana, sitting behind you, has been freezing all day.
Program director Adriana has been freezing, according to Robert. But no, so that's a good point, right? The cold weather, people, during the spring and summer, where do they want to be normally, Stephen?
Oh, they don't, they want to be out on the beach doing things outside and working out outside too. And to Emily's point, these New Year's resolutions, it's a big boom, right? There's a lot of people in the fitness centers, but it's almost like a double whammy in these other states, especially in the mid-Atlantic, any state that really deals with snow. Well, you're going to get even more usage on top of that because you get people wanting to work out indoors instead of outdoors.
Yeah, absolutely. As the weather changes, people don't want to be out when it's, 20, feels like 15 degrees outside. You're just more likely to want to go inside and get your run in that way. Stay a little warm, watch your favorite show on Netflix while you're doing so. Emily?
I mean, and also it's just that time of the year where it's just dark most of the day. It gets dark early, so, especially for me as a female, I'm not going to want to go outside and take a walk or run outside when it's dark, just to be safe. So for me, I've been running inside our gym.
That's a really good point. The daylight savings time thing happens and it starts getting darker earlier. So if you leave early in the morning like we do, by the time you get done work, it's starting to get dark. Where are you going to go run outside, right? That's a really good point. So for all those reasons, you're going to probably see an influx of people into your fitness centers in the next few weeks as the calendar turns over, the weather really kind of settles into that time of year. Robert, what is the natural effect in that case then of, that sort of activity increase? What's the natural effect on equipment and accessories and things like that in the fitness center?
Well, to your point, when you're starting to finish out the year, a lot of what is going on in the gym kind of stabilizes, and then of course you hit that peak. And the concern is you hit the peak all at one time.
Mm-hmm.
So again, all that rush in means that your equipment is now under a greater demand, and because of that greater demand, now we're going to start to see whether that equipment is ready for that demand.
Yeah.
And when things start to squeak or break down or whatever the case may be, whatever effect the machines feel during that peak season means that repairs are going to be needed, maintenance is going to be an absolute, and things like that just, again, all happen at one time. So if it's happening here, it's happening in a lot of places, which means it's just a domino effect of trying to get something fixed in that time period. There's going to be expectations to get it done. Well, there's going to be delays because of that time of year. So again, it's because everything reaches a peak, and you'd think we would be prepared for it in this industry, but we're not. So we're coming in again to a new year. We'll have some of the same things take place because that's the way it is. You ride into the new year. Fitness centers that haven't necessarily had a lot of use, or maybe you have a new facility and this is your first full year with full occupancy. Now you get a real test of what your gym is made of, and now your service provider has to, unfortunately, instead of being proactive, they're going to have to be reactive depending on what concerns you're having in the gym.
Yeah, and that's a good point. So really, that's the aim of this podcast episode, is to help people to be as proactive as they can ahead of time for these concerns and issues. Because the reality is, like you said, that's what's going to happen basically at every community. So as every community experiences the same thing, the volume of needs, of parts, of service, of physical people to go and turn wrenches and replace things that are broken it's all just going to, the demand for all of that is going to rise. So you mentioned, we should be more prepared. I mean, you can try to be as prepared as, as possible for those types of things, but it's just like any other high demand industry. When you go to throw, when the summer rolls around and everybody starts throwing their air conditioners on all at the same time, the HVAC guys, they can't keep up,
Yeah,
right?
they get
Like, it's
overwhelmed.
just- and that's basically what's going to happen. So as you begin to see this increased activity in your fitness center, what's going to happen is your brand new equipment is going to start seeing an increased amount of use. Your equipment that's already got wear and tear, or your accessories that are already starting to get worn, well, now they're going to get put to the test, right? They're going to see if that wear and tear that's already started to accumulate, is it put it in a compromised position? Is it about to fail under the increased amount of use? Or are you going to receive a larger amount of complaints about the equipment, maybe the things that are already broken or worn, because you have more people coming in and using the space? Are you going to experience an increased volume of reports from your residents about issues in the fitness center? So these are all things that you would, ideally want to avoid. Whatever materials you're using, right? Whether it's cleaning or hand sanitizers, whatever those products are that you're using in the gym. More people coming in means more people are going to be using those things, which means it's more important than ever to have the right stuff. So we're going to discuss all of that in more detail, and an effort, again, to help people to understand how important it is, right, to be like proactive versus reactive. So let's get the shameless plug for what it is that we do out of the way now for people at a time. So what's one of the best things, the number one thing we'll actually say, Stephen, that somebody can do to be proactive about taking care of their fitness center before the winter and the New Year's rush?
I think the best thing that managers can do, properties can do, is have a site visit. Definitely have a site visit if you don't already have something in place at the moment. Get an analysis of the condition of the equipment, the condition of your accessories, your stockpile of wipes, cleaning stuff, cleaning materials. All of these things will help establish almost like a how can I say, a general idea of where you are in this space in your fitness center. So I think that's one of the first primary things that a property manager should focus on.
Yeah, absolutely. That most fitness vendors that are in the industry that would assist you with that type of information, that would be, like, I would imagine, probably a courtesy service that people would offer. We call that here an FRA, a fitness room assessment or fitness room analysis. I don't think we've fully landed on what the A stands for, but we kind of use them both. But basically, that's something that we do to come out there and help people to, understand. If you're not already dealing with us, that's sort of how we introduce ourselves to your property, because ideally, the best thing you can do for your fitness center is already have it in motion, right? You can already have routine maintenance, safety inspections, cleaning of your fitness center. You can already have those things happening. But if you haven't already taken those steps to contact RMS Fitness or whoever else it is that you may want to contact, do so, because that first site assessment to help not only what's needed in regard to taking care of your equipment is going to be really helpful. But we could also, on that visit, just yesterday, I went out and looked at a property, and we're getting them set up for maintenance, and I was able to identify 2 safety issues with equipment as it was right then and there, and I documented it. Now when our team comes out for our first visit, they're going to be prepared to resolve those issues on that first stop versus needing to come out there for the first visit, identify those issues, right? And then
that's huge.
Yeah, come on back out. So, and again, when you're talking about like longer lead times because of the time of year or parts delays and things, like those little things are going to be really impactful. But Robert, what would you say is like you've been doing this for a long time, operating the company here, and routine maintenance and service has been basically the bread and butter kind of core of our business for a long time. If you had to summarize the benefits and the importance of routine maintenance, in a concise way for the people listening, what would you say is the main benefit of that if they're not already contracted with somebody for that service?
Was that question on here?
No.
It was not on the itinerary. It was a curveball.
He does that. He
And
does
the
that.
easy thing, I thought he was going to ask me, but he asked Stephen.
And he used the keywords concise. So how do I make it concise? So the benefit is always knowing what's going on in the gym. I think what I've expressed in past podcasts is that a property manager has more than simply the gym to maintain.
Yeah.
They have a lot going on. So having a good partner means that, again, if you have routine maintenance coming down, generally speaking, those of us in the industry have already prepared the property manager for what is to come. So if your PM happened to be in December, I'm sure there's some recommendations to be able to take on that increased activity. So you're going to hear terms like walking belts, you're going to hear terms like cables. These things are all because the technician that was out on site is seeing things and seeing wear, and that wear at that point prior to the peak means that if you don't do it now, during the peak, these things will definitely become evident. So maintenance, to be concise, is really the proactive side of our business. By being out there and maintaining the equipment, understanding the health of the equipment, gives the property manager a fighting chance to, and I think they would truly enjoy this, is to have less complaints from the residents about the equipment. In other words, they would like to focus their time somewhere else than a treadmill that's not working or a lat pull down that needs a cable. So that's really why maintenance is important, is to keep that extra load off the property management to focus on other things, bringing in new residents, maybe even upgrading something else in the facility, landscaping, pool, whatever that might be. But the fitness equipment, if you get the right team, the right partner doing your maintenance, you generally stay ahead of the game. So you're not falling behind. Whereas January 1st, come inside, last thing you want is a resident to go in, you have 5 treadmills and only 2 are working.
Yep.
That's where
That's
you
a
don't want to
nightmare.
be, right?
No, absolutely. Emily, with the hand up. Now everyone can see your little hand wave that you do now.
So, and to Robert's point about, we'll check out all the fitness equipment, but we also, during the maintenance, take the time to check the condition of the accessories, the attachments to things that are easily overlooked, things that are easily able to grab and walk out of a room. Hate to say that, but we've covered that before on other podcasts that, those items are easily taken out of a room. So we like to just really take a full evaluation of the room every time to make sure the room is perfectly usable and ready for everybody to use. And that goes with the gym wipes, things like that. We just want to make sure that when we leave, we've left the room better than when we arrived.
Yep. That's kind of I'm glad you said that. We haven't talked about that in a little bit, but that sort of is kind of the motto, so to speak, behind our routine maintenance. That's what we talk to the technician teams about and the service team about, is leaving the room better than we found it. Every space is different. Some places have brand new equipment. Some places have very old equipment. Some places get lots of use and little use. Some are more clean than others and less clean. So every space needs a little bit of a different touch. But
Yeah.
the goal is to have somebody that you're working with that's going to come out and be able to identify what it is that you need in your space and to help you solve that problem. So, obviously, yes, shameless plug out of the way. We would love to assist anyone with routine maintenance, service, and repairs in their fitness center so that we can help you to be proactive about taking care of those needs. But frankly, Emily, well, before I say frankly, to answer this question.
I'll ask you a question.
You'll ask me the question, and then I'll ask you the question that you were going to ask me.
Okay.
Now, so what's the frequency that most of our customers see us for maintenance?
Majority of the time, it's a quarterly basis.
Yeah.
But we do all kinds of visits. We do twice a year. Our minimum is twice a year, but we can do more than quarterly. It's really, we try to just do whatever the customer feels like they need.
Yeah.
Well, we have customers in Ocean City that, obviously during the winter time, it's very slow. They don't need something as much. But then during the summer season, the warmer season, the gym is really being used a lot. There's a lot of vacationers. So we have a customized contract where it's like, I want you to come out June, July, August, and that works for them. So we try to really just customize it to what people need.
Yeah, especially those beach customers, because that's a whole different thing. That it's like they get no use for like 6 months of the year.
Yeah, then they get an explosion.
And then
of
they get
usage.
all this use, right? But it's like beach specific use. So
Yeah.
like you go in there to clean the treadmills and you turn them on and there's like sand flying out the back of the treadmills and stuff. And everything feels like that sea salt air has
Yeah.
kind of just like
Yep.
found its way onto everything.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's a perfect example of a customer that has a kind of a specific,
Are we getting equipment ready for winter? Why are we talking about the beach?
Well, we talked about the one customer who doesn't do anything in the winter is the people on the beach. But no. But basically, my point in asking about the frequency was that whether it's 4 or whether it's 2, some customers have us come monthly, some, whatever the frequency is, even as often as you have a team like ours coming out there, besides having a team like RMS come out and do the maintenance and do the inspections, Robert, every time you don't look at me, I'm going to call on you.
That's why I'm like
Yeah, every time you don't look at me, I'm calling on you.
staring
What
at
would
Steve.
you What would you suggest then is another important thing though beyond having a team like ours come out? It's on the list this time. We talked about it ahead of time.
I'm kidding. Are we talking about organizing and inspecting the rooms?
You're talking about
together?
we're going to be your team that you call in to come out periodically, right? But these people, we're going to see us 4 times a year. They're going to be there 365 days a year, right?
So this podcast might be full of acronyms, but we've talked about, may I insert the QAV?
Oh yeah.
So a quality check that we do in-house is to come out and see how things are going. Talk about organization. Sometimes the room might not be ready for that influx. We've talked things like accessories and other things are things that from a distance, you see them every day, but we walk in and say, that's probably not in the right spot. Or can we do something to make the room look a little better or refresher, you could say. And again, it comes down to, maybe this is specific, but sometimes a machine will just end up in the fitness room that the property manager is not aware of.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one that clearly, again, you wouldn't know unless you had an inspection done, and then all of a sudden it's like, why is this bike in the room? Where'd it come from?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen everywhere, but it does happen. And you need to be aware of those things, make sure they're not in the room. And sometimes they don't land on the preventive maintenance visit, but we're in the area with our clients from time to time to check on them, see how the room is functioning.
Yeah.
But on my little outline here, because I am getting a little older, it mentions things about catching things early. Again, being proactive right now would be good as we
So
go
catching
into
things,
the-
let's cut you off. So
Yes.
catching things early,
Right.
let's talk about what the site teams at these properties can do between our visits then in that case, because that's really important.
Yeah, and I think Emily sent out something not too long ago to our partners, to our customers about what to look for, a little checklist for them to go in, what's missing, what's damaged. Sometimes the stability ball really doesn't look like it should be used at this point in time.
Not so stable.
Yeah, and it's off in the corner and other things, resistance bands. There is lifespans on some of this equipment, and generally the visual inspection of them tells that or shows that evidence that
Yeah.
they need to be replaced. But yeah, in between the visits, I'm sorry I didn't catch on there, Steve.
No,
but
you're okay.
we try to tell our clients to go in there at least once a week and do the inspection, minimum once a month, and see if the room is exactly the way it needs to be.
Absolutely. That's perfect. So when it comes to the site teams, they do play a big role in that because even though we can come out there and help you with the maintenance and things like that and inspect it during our visits, if we're there 4 times a year, that means the other 361 days of the year, it's the site teams that are the ones there on site. And our quarterly visits go a long way, but the property continues to go on even when we're not there, right? So the leasing team is still touring new people that are coming out to the property. Your maintenance staff is still dealing with issues and reports of little issues or concerns along the way. And there are things that you all can kind of just train yourselves to look for in the fitness center. Train your on-site team to go out there and periodically take a look at these things. And that can really go a long way combined with our regular maintenance visits to helping you really maximize the concerns there. Because again, we come out 4 times a year. All the other days, your site team can walk the room. And I saw, Stephen, you had your hand up there.
Yeah.
But what is going to be the benefit of a site team being able to identify maybe damaged, misplaced, or worn items on their own before our team comes out?
That's a great question, and can solve a lot of headaches too. So one of the things that we like to do too is a lot of times property managers they coordinate a meet and greet with our technicians while they're on site to kind of go over some of the things. And a lot of times the on-site maintenance techs like to get a pulse of the feel for the fitness center. And what our technicians can do is kind of give a brief little explanation for their on-site techs to say, okay, hey, look for this cable or look for this for issues. And if you catch them early, they can be replaced early without having downtime. An email can be sent, photos can be sent. At least the on-site techs or your on-site maintenance people have a general idea of what to look for. Because sometimes it can be daunting, or they might not know what to look for, what's wrong and what's correct, like a broken seat pad or something to that extent.
Yeah.
And one of our techs can kind of help show them the ropes.
So Emily, I see you have your hand up.
I do.
Combine your answer with the question I'm about to ask you.
Oh,
So what are a couple really obvious examples of things that a site team, without a whole lot of fitness industry understanding, like you walk in a gym, what are some things that the site team could look for that
Okay.
that are examples of items that they could identify concerns with or
Okay.
issues with?
so you can walk into a room and you can look around and you can walk up to, let's say, your stability balls, like Robert said. If they look really sad, then you just call us and we'll bring them out when we come out to do the maintenance.
Yeah.
Or you walk over to your functional trainer and you're like, let me check out these attachments. Are they really frayed, worn, really gross kind of looking? Let me take a picture of this and send it to Emily and say, can you replace this at your next PM visit? We got you.
Yeah.
Or you can test the carabiner.
She got a lot of ideas, folks. She got a lot of ideas.
The snap hooks. Are they snapping right back in place? Those are all the little things that someone can walk into a room if they have the time. I realize time is short and precious, but you can do all these things that really take just a few moments, and then contact us and we'll bring it out. And we'll bring it with us at the PM visit. And I wanted to do this little plug that I hope there's some property managers that do recognize me, either via email. But before maintenance, we send out an email to all our customers to let them know that their PM is going to be coming up next month. Is there anything that they have any concerns with prior to us coming? And that's been really great. We've gotten a lot of great feedback where we are better, prepared to come out and bring the things that are needed, small items like that, and we just take care of it right then and there.
Yeah. No, that's perfect, right? So, in addition to going in there and inspecting the quality or condition of those items, you're going to walk into the gym, your site team, and most days what they're going to find is that about half of the medicine balls and one of the stability balls and 3 of the resistance bands and 2 of the mats and 1 of the foam rollers have found their way all over the gym. They're just going to be everywhere, right? So that's another benefit to having the site team periodically walk the space. We can do a lot of service repairs and maintenance during our PM visits when we're there, but we can't do anything to help your space be nice and organized and tidy between those visits. That's entirely on the site team. And it's really important because in addition to verifying that stuff is damaged or not, or in good condition and where it's supposed to be, Emily, what do you think would be the impact of that? Say you're on the property from maybe like a leasing perspective, like you have somebody coming in to consider living at your property. If you have a team that does these things and a team that doesn't, what's going to be the difference?
Well, you can definitely tell when you go into a nice fitness amenity or a gym and you see everything in its place and it has a place for all the things. It's not just thrown on the floor, but there are actual places to put all these items. You're blown away. I can't wait to work out in that kind of a gym. I want to go there. But if I walk into a gym and all of those items are laying all over the floor, it's a tripping hazard. It to me makes the gym look dirty and not well kept.
It looks gross.
It looks just uninviting, and I'm not very excited to walk in and work out there.
Yeah. And then
Robert?
keep that thought. No, Robert, you can answer this question.
I can wait.
No, this is perfect. It's perfect. So that's the impact of either performing or not performing, those types of inspections and things like that, and the impact that it can have on your space. So what's the real opportunity there, right? Because how quickly have you ever been in a gym when somebody happens to come through on a tour? Have you ever been in there before? How long are they usually in that space for? Seconds, right? So that's how long your fitness amenity has to make an impression on the person on the tour. Most people aren't really getting in there and spending minutes in there. So they're typically walking in, they're looking around briefly, and whatever jumps off the page is what's going to get noticed. Now, this probably goes beyond just the fitness amenity, right? Because if you go in and you see a well-maintained, to Emily's point, well-cared-for fitness center, does that just tell you something about the gym? Or more than likely, what's that tell you, Emily, about the team at that property in general?
That they have it under control. Their whole property is well managed, well organized, and they care about all of the things on their property.
Yeah.
You know, and that would make me have then respect for that room. And I would be, if I walk into a room and I see all the things put away very nicely before I go in, then that does something to me mentally where after I'm done working out, I'm going to put all those things back too. So that's
a good point too. You don't want to be like the one person not putting things back. So when you see all that being done as a standard, it does kind of set that expectation for sure. So that's actually all really good stuff, because that's gonna really be impressive to people when it comes to not only the tours, but it's gonna be impressive when it comes to renewing your lease, right? It's probably an indicator that throughout the year, the people living at the community can really depend on the site team to solve issues, be on top of things, and it's going to increase the likelihood of them wanting to, re-sign a lease for the following year and things like that. And your leasing people will probably really appreciate it too, right? Your leasing staff, they're incentivized to get people to want to come and live at your community. If the fitness center is either helping or hurting based on the condition of it and what you're doing between your maintenance visits, then your leasing team is really going to appreciate that extra effort into making sure that space is well cared for so that they can make a good impression. So, Emily, we're going to talk to you again. Stephen, I haven't forgotten about you, buddy. We're coming to you in a minute for lots of things. But I want to talk a little bit about Emily's nickname, guys, Lil Wipey. Her name's Lil Wipey, Stephen. Why is she called Lil Wipey?
I don't know why.
Why is she called Lil Wipey, Stephen?
Because everyone goes to her to replenish their wipe stock or their wipe inventory for the fitness equipment.
Yep.
So she is like the wipe queen.
Emily wipes them out. She wipes them out with the wipes. But no, so that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about too, is because along with the increased use and the demand for the fitness center means there's going to be more activity. That means that there is going to be more people in your community using the fitness center, which is a twofold thing, right? Sometimes winter is also commonly, Robert, referred to as
Cold season.
Cold and flu season, right? So it could be likely.
I feel like today's my one-word answer.
You could say more than one word if you really want it. No, but it's pretty likely that this time of year you're gonna also have some of that going on at your communities too, right? So the importance of having the right materials for taking care of not only your residents but also the equipment, very important. That's really important this time of year too, because increased activity in the space means increased use of whatever materials you have in the gym. So, Stephen, if your property has stacks of paper towels and spray bottles in your gym, what does that mean is going to happen in January? Are you going to have more or less people spray bottling your consoles with mystery fluids?
You're going to have a lot more spray bottling the consoles.
Yeah, it's common this time of year, right?
It is very common, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because Robert is writing me a note that I never let him answer the question.
Did you pick up on that, Adriana? Okay, I want to make sure the rest of the world sees it. This is a typical podcast.
I'm so sorry. We'll edit it in post when we're not live. No, but that's. What was I talking? You got me all messed up, right?
No, so
More spray bottles.
yes,
Yeah, more spray bottles, right.
Spray bottling
Yeah.
the consoles.
More spray bottles, or it could be the case, right, that you're just using more of maybe a less than ideal product. So maybe you have gym wipes, but maybe they're like super soggy, or they're super dry, or they're just like not the right type or quality. There's really a lot that goes into that, honestly.
Or people don't understand there's a difference between a performance gym wipe in comparison to your Lysol wipes. So you see a lot that have Lysol wipes, and it's like, I get where you're going here, but
Yeah.
it's not the same thing.
And there's a lot of claims made about disinfecting and
Yeah.
sanitizing and all these different things. The fact of the matter is, not all of those products are created equal. Using Lysol wipes on your gym equipment is almost certainly going to lead to what sorts of problems, Robert? You can answer this one. You can actually answer this one.
So what happens with these wipes? Let's see.
You can do
First
it.
of all, if you take one of those out and you apply it to a console, more than likely you're going to leave more of the moisture on the console, and you're going to create an issue there. Those wipes are not designed for those consoles, so what you'll find is you'll have areas where the touchscreen will not respond. So that's one. But during the years of the pandemic, disinfectants were at an all-time high in use, and the plastics suffered tremendously from all the wiping down. So if you don't have that proper consistency within the wipe, you wind up, especially all equipment is turning, the preferred color now in the industry is black. And because of that, black has a tendency to scratch, as well as you get those white streaks. And so you have to be mindful that not every, to Emily's point, not every wipe is made equal. So we have to make sure that we put the right wipe on the right equipment.
I didn't say that, Steve did.
Yes, I did.
possible.
But Emily meant to say
It's
it.
possible.
Emily meant to say it. She just forgot. No. But we're not just talking about just gym wipes. We're talking about all the things, right? So there's not only gym wipes and disinfecting wipes, but we also have access to hand sanitizing products. We have access to rubber floor cleaning solutions that are rated for being used in commercial fitness centers.
We have access to water fountain filters.
Water fountain filters. This is a really common one that when you go in there and you see the bottle filling stations,
Yeah.
where you see the drinking fountains, they got a couple different color lights on there, and usually they're red because that means the filter needs to be changed, and things just haven't been identified yet. So those are all things that Lil Wipey, Emily V, can drop ship right to your leasing office. They're easy for you all to just walk in, drop into the gym, put them in the right place, and make sure you got the right things. So having the right products and materials this time of year is important because you're going to have all that increased use, which means you're either going to have increased use of the correct materials like gym wipes, hand sanitizers, water filter fountains, water filter fountains, water fountain filters, or you're going to be using something that isn't the right. And either way, you're either going to be winning or losing.
Yep.
So again, having the right team to make the right recommendations and the right resources can go a long way to where making sure that you all don't have unnecessary issues during the winter. Again, the spray bottle thing, Stephen, coming back to you, we talk about it all the time. It's a really common example of something we see, which is
Yeah.
rather than having proper materials, you see these just unbranded blank spray bottles. What's going to happen most likely when somebody grabs that spray bottle? They're going to get off the treadmill, they're going to get the spray bottle. What's going to happen?
Yes, normally I see it all the time. The users will just grab the bottle, spray on the unit, and they love to focus on the console too.
Mm-hmm.
They like douse the console, and that's how they clean it essentially.
Yeah.
And if that's all they're given, that's what they're going to do, unfortunately. But what tends to happen is you're going to have premature failure of the consoles. You're going to have rusting situation going on as well. So a lot of things your new equipment can break down rather quickly when you have that type of cleaning scenario in a fitness center.
Yeah. And you know what? You just you took me right to my next point, Stephen. That was perfect. You know what I mean? Because you will have that breakdown over time if you're not using the right materials. But additionally, a dirty fitness center will contribute to premature failure of most components of the equipment, whether it's the electronics, the cosmetic, elements of it. It's just all going to lead to deterioration. So along with increased use this time of year, what should a property or a site team, Robert, plan to maybe consider increasing this time of year?
I have no idea what he's asking me.
No, No, like
No,
we're
I'm
not
kidding.
the. Oh, okay.
Definitely want to increase the cleaning in the room,
Yeah.
right? Everyone has a cleaning service. Now, generally, we clean the equipment for sure, inside and around and underneath. But the entire room itself should probably see that. May I add in what I'd like to add in like 20 minutes ago? Is it?
Hey, look, man, look, your name is on the building, bro. You can
If I
say.
get an idea, it's not going to. So we were talking about winter ready, and I couldn't help but think of, when the elements do come, there's going to be salt on the ground. There's going to be other things that you cannot necessarily prevent in the sense of it being used outside of your building, because you have to make sure the sidewalks are prepared for that winter. But just know that whoever's coming to the gym is tracking that into the gym. And with that said, just make sure that at the doorways, is there a way for people to wipe their feet coming into the gym? Because, every gym's a little different. Some have access from inside, some have direct access from outside. And if you have a direct outside access, that's where it really becomes an issue, because they go right from outside to on your treadmill, and then that salt or whatever debris will then find its way throughout the fitness center.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to increase the cleaning
Yeah,
in the areas that we don't touch, so that it doesn't make its way into the the workings of the equipment, whether it's the walking belt on a treadmill or maybe even a bike. You start to wear on some other items like that because you have that on the bottom of your shoe. So that was my idea, Steve. I just wanted to share it.
No, that was perfect. Salt and leaves. That's what I always
There
think
you
about
go.
this time of
That's
year.
it.
It's like if you have access to your gym from outside, to your point, people open that door. Your maintenance crew probably just put salt down on the sidewalks
Yep.
because of the ice that might have been about to come.
Yeah.
Well, now you got people walking salt in through your gym. They open the doors, the wind's blowing, the leaves come in. It's really common this time of year to start
Yeah.
seeing like an increased amount of like exterior dirt and debris, in the fitness center because of that too. So those are all really good pointers on how people can be proactive and not reactive in taking care of the fitness center in 2025. Emily, I see your hand.
So that just reminded me, we talked about this on another podcast, but we have a location that to help prevent any outside debris getting on the equipment is they put up a sign that asks you to change your shoes from your outdoor shoes to your exercising shoes to just help not, transfer all of that gunk onto a treadmill, for instance. And, part of the reason why we're talking today is, we've seen it all, we've heard it all, so we know that with the cleaning services getting amped up, if that's the case, we want to be careful about how they clean in and around the equipment.
Yeah.
And I don't want to steal
Steal
any.
it. Steal it.
Okay, so you have you have the cleaning services that mop, and they do a great job. You go into a room and it looks beautiful, but the problem is they don't know, what not to do. So that's why we're here, and we've seen it before where a cleaning service will mop right on a treadmill, and all that liquid and all of that, they're not thinking about the electronics underneath the hood. They're just thinking about, let's clean this up and make it look good, and to their point, but it's damaging the electronics of the equipment.
Yeah. And that was really a point that I did want to make that I almost forgot to make. So I'm glad that you brought that back up. But it's not just a matter of increasing the frequency that you're having cleaning performed, but also ensuring that if you're increasing that frequency, that you're increasing the frequency of good work, not bad work. Because if you have somebody that's performing the types of tasks that are going to be detrimental to your equipment and you just ask them to come do it more, well, now it's really counter to what you're trying to get done, because now you're actually going to be contributing to that equipment wearing out even more quickly. So probably a perfect transition, talking about equipment aging or wearing out more quickly, is to just talk about briefly the impact that the age of equipment at a property can have on how it is that a site team should go about, trying to maintain this the equipment and care for it. So it's pretty common that we get asked people questions about like, what should I plan for? What should I think about? What do I need to look out for on the gym? Well, a lot of that has to do with how old your current equipment is and what you are prepared to accept or deal with throughout the year. So we sell new equipment. When we sell new equipment, Emily, typically for the first 2 years, what's the warranty coverage and situation that a customer can expect on new equipment, whether it's from us or really anybody else?
It's 100% covered.
Oh, it's 100% covered.
Yeah, 100% covered. The warranty, right? Brand new equipment out of the box for the first 2 years from most manufacturers is going to come with almost bumper to bumper parts and labor coverage. And that's really important. That means that they're going to pay for not only what, Stephen, the part that needs to get replaced, but also
The tech to install that part.
right. So they're also going to pay for Stephen to come out there with his little tool bag and the little wrenches, you know, and they're going to
Little ones?
They're going to pay for that. He's got big wrenches too sometimes. But that's what you can expect during the first 2 years. But it's also most likely the case that during those first 2 years, you're going to have, Robert, more or less issues as he's drinking. I can't help but mess with him right now. Oh, man. But no, during the first 2 years, trick question, as I love to ask, should you anticipate more issues during the first 2 years or less?
Well, you would like to think there'd be less issues because it's brand new, right? I mean, that is why we encourage a new purchase if at the end of the life of a piece of equipment, it's having multiple issues. So to solve that issue is to buy new so that you have less issues.
Perfect answer. Thank you. So after 2 years, you start to move into the in-between period of equipment, right? So like 2 to 4 years old, if that's the age of the equipment in your facility, maybe you're new construction, you've been open for somewhere between 2 and 4 years. Stephen, what type of warranty situation are they most likely looking at? And you can also talk a little bit about what sorts of service issues they should maybe plan to anticipate for equipment in that time frame.
Good question. So typically in this time period, your part coverage is still there for most equipment. But then you have the labor that's not covered at that point. And so this is where a fitness room analysis plays a key factor, and also having regular conversations with your provider as well, who takes care of the fitness center, to help with budgeting. Because when you're going into these different stages, when you have brand new equipment, your budget is going to be completely different 2 or 3 years down the road, because then your expenses are going to go up more in the fitness centers. And so, you know, those are some of the things that need to consider for budgeting reasons, to help, you know, a property manager be successful in that budget season, so to speak. And then in terms of getting parts readily available as well, depending on when things break down. Like Robert mentioned earlier, parts can break down in the wintertime. There can be issues, and there can be part availability issues. And even with COVID, we've experienced that. So, you know, it's as the gym equipment gets older throughout the years, you're gonna experience more and more issues, but you can lessen those by having a good provider.
Oh, good answer. Very well-rounded answer. Thank you for that. Robert, on the same subject of 2
Yeah.
to 4 year old equipment?
Exactly, because depending on the use, if you have a high use, like we talked to a client today who replaces their cardio every 3 years. So looking at your scenario here, they're buying new cardio. That's not everybody in the multifamily housing industry. They're more, you know, a few years from that. But with that said, to Stephen's point, when the provider comes in, there's a term, walking belt or running belt is a term that's used often by technicians in the field. If I tell a property manager or engineer, hey, you need a walking belt, they go back to the facility after I visited the facility. I'm using myself as the example here. And they walk in and they see a walking belt and they say, looks fine to me.
Yep.
And the thing is that at this time of year, when you have the inspection and the tech checks the mileage and then runs an inspection of the deck and belt surface underneath, that's when they're making the determination for that recommendation that you're seeing. And that's generally towards that tail end of that, depending on how many hours and miles that the unit is receiving at that point. But so when you see that, a technician's kind of in an in-between stage. Like you should replace this, because if you don't, and we go too long, then we start damaging other things. And you've been to a car mechanic that says you're going to need your brakes really soon, I'd recommend you get them done now.
Yeah.
Why? Because if it continues to wear and it goes beyond the wear point on the brake pad, it's going to damage other parts. Well, that's the same analogy here with the walking belt or running belt, if you hear that term. So when you get recommendations like this time of year, it's not simply just walking out to the fitness center and looking at a belt and going, oh, it looks fine to me, because there's more to it. And that's when you have to really think to yourself, do I trust my partner who's taking care of my fitness amenity? Have they given me the right information? And if that is the case, then I would strongly suggest that if that is the recommendation, they're only looking out for your future. So replacing that walking belt means less wear and tear on the motor, less wear and tear on the on the motor controller. So there's thousands of dollars I just mentioned there that could be avoided in cost if you follow those recommendations.
Now that's really good, because a lot of times that recommendation, to your point, does come through an observation by a technician, not because something's broken, but because they see certain conditions on the machine and they're trying to help you to, per our point, be proactive and avoid that machine, ending up in worse condition or failing. So during this 2 to 4 year window of equipment, just to recap, you should anticipate most of your parts still being covered, maybe not so many of those wear and tear items like belts and things like that would be the cost of a property. And the labor, in many cases, is going to be the responsibility of the site team too. So during this phase, it's important to plan a little bit more in your budgets as you kind of prepare them for submission and review to be able to accommodate some of these repairs. Because if you have a high use facility, you are more than likely in this window going to start seeing some breakdown of wear and tear items like belts and things like that. It's probably common and going to happen. Now, if you're in a low use facility, you might not see them during this 2 to 4 year window, but you may. Beyond this, though, you move into that 5 to 7 year period, which 7 years is for most manufacturers is considering to be like the full lifespan of commercial, fitness equipment. That's about how long they intend it to be in your facility. Robert, what should you expect during 5 to 7 years for most equipment? You're going to get a lot of love from the manufacturer on parts and things?
Well, Steve, I'm sure there's a lot of love out there, buddy. But you are on the tail end of any kind of warranty. There are some pieces of equipment out there that are on the 5-year warranty range. But beyond that, we have always said for many, many years, when we get to year 7, you have to start planning for new equipment. You basically have gotten as much as you can expect out of a piece of equipment at 7 years. Because again, you go into a Planet Fitness, they've replaced everything in 5 years. Mm-hmm. And so anything beyond that, it's kind of, again, based on use. Let's be fair, it's based on use. When we get to that 10-year portion, now you're talking about part support, but that's for another podcast. But at this point, 5 to 7 years, you got to start planning for some major repairs at this point, no doubt. And all of that is going to be under the property. So does a property manager plan at year 7 or year 5? I recommend year 5. You start thinking about how I'm going to replace that equipment. And because a lot of those studies with some of the HOAs and other facilities out there, they start looking back and they start doing their studies so they know what they spend in the next couple of years. But that should be year 5, shouldn't be year 10. I've got a couple of clients at year 10 and they're struggling because they didn't prepare. And now you've got equipment that is, we don't use duct tape that often or Band-Aids, but they're at that point of duct tape and Band-Aids, and it's not sightly. So we don't.
We send Emily out with the roll of tape when we need to. A little tapey.
We don't recommend that.
No, so perfect. That's perfect answer. During years 5 to 7, you should anticipate not having very much warranty support. So whatever repairs come up, you should anticipate being the responsibility of your site team. You should also, when approving any repair, be working with a partner who's going to also let you know whether you are at risk of other items failing. It's common here during that age of equipment. It's common for us to stop a repair estimate from going to the customer and make sure that rather than just sending that to them through the automated system for renewal, that they have an opportunity to review it with context about the age of the equipment, because the other shoe could be about to drop. You know, you might be about to replace the lower board, but there could also be another $2,000 to $3,000 worth of wear and tear items that need to be replaced or are right about to need to be replaced. And why would we encourage you to repair one expensive component if you weren't willing, ready, or able to repair that other batch of stuff? And maybe it's not worth it to repair them all together. You're probably pretty close to the cost of new equipment at that point. So those are the types of recommendations that you can expect from our team during years 5 to 7 and beyond. And really, you should also anticipate high cost repairs. So during this time of year, you want to plan to be needing to approve repairs throughout the year to the equipment. Things are going to break. Even with regular maintenance at that age of equipment, you're talking about equipment that just gets a lot of use and abuse. You're going to have some failures. Components are going to start to go up. That's a perfect time if you're in that window and you're kind of looking at equipment at your budgets for next year, which we may be a little late for a lot of folks for budgets, but even if we're talking about next year, start talking to us in the summertime about what you've got in your gym, what you can keep, what you are going to want to look at replacing to be able to maximize the return on the gym, but also minimize the heartache during the next year as well. So age of equipment plays a big role in what how it is that a property should be thinking about approaching their amenity during the year. Whether you need to plan to budget a lot or a little has a lot to do with the age of the equipment. And also whether you should approve a lot or a little of repairs throughout the year has a lot to do with the age of equipment. And that's where, again, having a good partner to kind of help you to take all that context, use it as ingredients, throw it into a soup, and come out with the right, result, make sure you're making the right moves and things. So, that's really another segment that we wanted to talk about. Now, this was the part of the show where we were hoping to open up the forum for question and answers, but I don't think we've gotten a single question, whether it's ahead of time through the RSVP process or here during the live. We just haven't gotten any questions, I don't think. But
That's
I did
because
want
we answered them all, Steve.
We do. We provide such comprehensive information. There's no blank spaces left. But as always, since we do have him there in the chat, I do want to take a minute to shout out and acknowledge our buddy Glenn Taylor, who joined us here today.
Hey.
He's live joining us from India today.
Oh my goodness, man!
Hey, Glenn. Good to see you, man.
He is a celebrity right now, man.
He is a
great.
world traveling.
His
guy.
videos are amazing too.
I know. I'm gonna try to get a guest spot on some tailor-made chaos one of these days. But no, that's really, really cool that we were able to have somebody like Glenn, who's in different time zones, continents, and the whole nine here jump in and join us.
We're very honored. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Glenn. Appreciate all your support.
Yeah, man.
And appreciate everybody else too. And if we missed any questions or anything like that, we do of course apologize that we didn't catch them if for some reason they didn't make it here to our broadcast today. But I don't think we got any. But another thing that we normally do for those that aren't part of our normal everyone needs a spotter experience. Now, typically, going way back to the intro, what we normally do is we start off the episode with our normal meetings and greetings, and then we talk about the week in review. Talk about whatever it is that we maybe experienced or learned or ran into during the week that we thought was really important or educational, helpful, funny, whatever it might be. We didn't want to do that because we figured we might have some visitors here this week who didn't really care too much about, what we ran into this week out in the field and whatever. So I thought it would be nice to kind of flip this thing around, do it a little bit in reverse. And instead of doing the week in review, since it's December, it's almost the end of the year, to just take a minute, take a beat as a team here for anyone that's still listening to us an hour after we started, and just talk about talk about the year in review, right? Talk about what it is that we kind of gathered from the year, what we wanted to share and express with the listeners and things like that. I'm going to start with Steven.
Oh, man.
Because I wanted to end with Robert, and Emily didn't look ready. So we're going to Steven. Steven, 2024 year in review. 30 seconds or less. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead. Just tell anyone that's still listening what it is that you like and enjoy about 2024.
Oh, man. Well, 2024 was a roller coaster of different jobs and being placed in different scenarios, going from going to several facilities to repair, to designing, to consulting, it's definitely been a wild 2024 year. I'm looking forward to the coming year, and man, next year is going to be solid.
Yeah.
Some big projects down the pipe.
2025 is shaping up to be a real hit. That
A
is for
humdinger.
sure. A humdinger. You heard it here, folks, from Humdingadio. All right, Emily, no pressure. 2024, year in
handle
review.
this?
Yeah, there were, we've been in here in this building made it for a full year, so that was exciting. Went on some really awesome trips. Now I'm talking personal, awesome trips this year, so that's like a positive. One of them I did a post about on LinkedIn, and that was going out to Colorado, and which was amazing. There's been a lot of loss this year, so I'm looking forward to 2025, a fresh start. And work is always great. I love coming to work. I love who I work with, so work is never a problem. We obviously have a good time here, so that's never a problem. I
Yeah.
always enjoy seeing what 2025 brings.
Yeah, it is always nice to be able to come here and have the support of our team. I love kicking in this door every morning and screaming my fine fitness family in the front door as I do. But no, it makes a big difference, though, being able to come here and have the support of one another and, to be able to do those things. So, that's another advantage of being here at RMS is having the fitness family in your corner. So like you mentioned, looking forward to big things, leaving a few things behind, and also looking forward to a lot of exciting things here in 2025. Robert, now listen, before you start,
Yes, Steve.
I call him Fearless Leader.
Yes, you do.
Some of you may not know, but he is our fearless leader here at RMS Fitness. He is the R, going back many, many, many years before we changed it to something else. But, so basically, I wanted to give you the opportunity here. 2024, after 25 plus now years in business, right?
That's true. That's true.
What do you want to reflect on and share with the folks in 2024?
It's too early to reflect, Steve. Too early to reflect. And the reason we can't
Why'd
reflect...
you let me build it up like that? And then
Because
just,
you do that. And Glenn he'll send me a text later. But the point is that 2024 came and went. And I can't emphasize that enough. Is as if we hit this year and we're here at the end of the year. I look back and mostly personal, a lot of moves, personally speaking. Home, other areas in my life that's changed a little bit as far as that is concerned. But RMS Fitness has been very consistent. We have some good partners that have stayed with us. Good visit from Jimmy at Torque. That was very encouraging. And so, teams continue to amaze me, the work they get done in the field. We have plenty of things out in the world of social media that Adriana posts, how the team works very hard. Getting certain clients to trust us the way they do, I should say the way they do for you, Steve, or for Steven. They pick up the phone, they call, they have a need, it's done. They trust. As an owner, that's always good. So I guess at this point, what I could say is one more year where I can say anyone who's called our company has found a company they can trust, and they certainly look forward to working with. So even something, and I don't want to say any names, but even this past week we had taken on an install that we wouldn't have normally taken on, but we took it on because someone asked us to take it on, who's a good partner and vendor with us. We took it on, and during that process, some things didn't necessarily work out during the install. It's still being handled. But during that process, what I found in reflection is that even when it didn't go well, the team still made it a pleasant experience for the customer, meaning they did what they could. They communicated what the solution would be. I was personally there today to back that up, and the customer felt how they should. They should feel that they're being listened to and they're being cared for, and that's important. I saw something the other day that talked about when it comes to being in business, why are you in business? And it really comes down to acquiring customers, and those customers stay because they trust the brand, they trust the people, and that's important to me. And so that's it for now, Steve. So get back to me on the 31st.
No, you know what? It is about, when you say acquiring customers, it's not just about the business. It's about the relationships. It's about being able to deliver a quality product that you can feel good about at the end of the year and really look back on what you did and take a lot of pride in what it is that we were able to get done. Grateful, right? We're going to be working with over 100 new properties next year as a result of Emily's hard work.
Yes, right.
On maintenance contracts for 2025.
crazy.
So we got over 100 new customers lined up for next year here locally, and that's really cool. As for me, I'm going to try to be brief about this because, I can be a little long-winded from time to time, but looking back on this
Steve,
year,
we can't tell by the time on this podcast.
It's like record breaking.
well, it's live, guys. It's different.
It is
you know,
live.
But, just looking back on this year and what it is that the team has accomplished, it was a year where I got to personally experience a lot of projects that I'd been working on for a long time, really coming to conclusion. It was a year of new development projects that, something we worked really hard to get into and to have the relationships and to begin seeing those projects go from schematics to piles of dirt to rough construction to finished places that I can now go and see with my eyes. Like, that's a really rewarding experience for me, and to be able to meet the site teams and to share those spaces with them, and then go back and visit 3 to 4 months later and see somebody there in the gym working out, staying healthy, working on their personal goals as an individual. That's like a really comprehensively satisfying experience for me, to kind of be a part of that process from concept to really the actual like byproduct of that whole process, which is somebody being able to rent a home and take care of themselves and their families there and stay healthy in the gym. And that's all like a really cool experience for me. And then also, everyone needs a spotter. As a kid, my dream growing up was to be on the radio. I always used to listen to the radio morning talk shows and stuff. And as a kid, I was just like, man, like, what a cool job. You just get to just talk into a microphone and like have fun and just joke around and have a good time. And I've always kind of had that like desire to be part of that sort of thing. And this isn't exactly the radio, but I will say the opportunity to be on the podcast, to record, share, have fun with you all and the team, welcome guests, go and do different exciting things, even just set up this live and be here talking to people on the internet is pretty cool. And I'm very grateful for all of what it is that we were able to accomplish as a team. Yeah. For everyone that's not even here, but is part of our team, I want to acknowledge them too. I mean, certainly the service department, the installation team, the administrative teams, the billing departments, parts department, it all, when I reflect on all of it, I'm proud of everything. So I'm just really grateful to be here, to be a part of the team. RMS Fitness, is the only place I'd want to be in the industry at this point. So, I am just super grateful to be part of our team and what it is that we're doing, and we're doing it our way with the customers, and we're enjoying, cultivating that and doing it like in a grassroots kind of effort. So that's my year in review and the things that I want to reflect on and be proud of. But really, that's really all I had. I wanted to, provide the information to help people to be winter ready for the fitness center. We've done that for a long time now. Wrap up the year with my people here. I'm very grateful for the three of you all to kind of be here. Also grateful for the people who are off camera right now, but I do want to acknowledge program producer Logan Decker. He's helping us with all the camera and sound coordination and things like that. Adriana Conway, our program director. She assisted us with making sure that this all got marketed, put out there ahead of time, structured the right way so that people knew where to come and find us. All those little posts you've seen with the countdown, that's all her. All the little funny videos of me yelling at people about the table not being ready. That's all.
Thank you, Adam, for this beautiful table.
Shout out to Adam for building the table. Literally my special live podcast table. I love it so much. No, but really grateful for all of that. And really just, typically we wrap it up. But before we do wrap it up, I also just want to say, for anyone that's joining us live today and doing it on LinkedIn, where you can normally find us is anywhere you get your podcasts in audio format. We're going to be sprinkling in some live stuff here and there. But for now, about every other week or so, you can find a new podcast episode of Everyone Needs a Spotter on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, maybe, or wherever else it is that you get your podcasts. And Apple Music, it's on there. YouTube as well. And we'll post links on LinkedIn each week to where you can go and download the episodes. Or everywhere, really. So if you are somebody that would like to hear that content, we've got a backlog of 24 or so, 25 episodes that we've filmed here. under the new format that we think you might enjoy. And we want to, of course, point you in that direction. But it is that time, guys, where we need to put a pin in this thing.
Time to wrap it up, Steve.
We need to wrap it up, and we simply would ask that if you have found this installment of Everyone Needs a Spotter to be educational, informative, and or entertaining, that you give us a 5-star review and nothing less. Share us with a colleague in your network that you think could benefit from a little bit of information about how they can make the best use of their multifamily fitness amenity. I'm just super proud to say that I am Steve Heitzer. I have been your host here today, and I am signing off. Passing it to my left, Stephen D.
This is Steve the D, the Donna Dio.
Steve the D, the Donadio.
And I'm signing off as well.
And he's signing off forever. Lil Wipey Emily V across from me. What it be?
This was excellent. Thank you, everyone who joined us today.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Fearless leader Robert Decker signing off.
I'll need another cup of coffee. But thank you. Means a lot for you to join us. We hope the information's helpful. Have a great week.
It really does mean a lot. This is, again, RMS Fitness, proud to present to you Everyone Needs a Spotter. Talk to you next time.
See you.